Police on Thursday confronted and killed armed bandits in a fierce gun battle on Norton Street Lodge. It's Friday, May 31. Here's what's making the news today. Isaiah Braffett tells us that swift action by the Guyana Police Force saved the lives of Neville Leslie and his 5-year-old son after 3 armed bandits held them hostage on Thursday evening in their Norton Street home.
If it wasn't basically me, I was studying, and my son. That is all I been studying to tell you don't say nothing because I didn't want to hurt him.
That was an emotional Leslie as he recounted the traumatizing ordeal that took place at his Norton Street home. He said the gunmen started to become irritated after their demands for cash and jewelry could not be met. Leslie believes that if the officers did not arrive when they did, things could have gone south.
My son even asked him, telling Daddy, they can shoot you, they can shoot you. I said, no, they ain't gonna shoot nobody. You lie down and relax. They tell me, keep it quiet or else they can shoot both of you. As the police come, I'm really glad that they come when they did, right? And I'm really thankful for not only my life and my son's life, that my sister-in-law them wasn't home.
Leslie also recounted that when the police arrived, the gunmen panicked, and it was then he was able to escape through a window with his son. While his son was unharmed, he suffered a broken toe. As he escaped, a shootout between the bandits and the police began that lasted over an hour. Fortunately, the only lives lost that night was that of the bandits. Leslie's sister, Vernice Lovell, said she is grateful that the police arrived when they did.
I thank God that the police was passing and was prompt on time, and at least his life has been saved. There's a few injury, but you know.
This is the second time in 2 weeks that the police intercepted armed bandits. Isaiah Braffett for InfoHub.
President David Granger today vowed to tackle homelessness in Guyana. This commitment was made during a visit to 2 new housing schemes on the east bank of Demerara.
It is my mission to completely abolish homelessness in this country. I would like to leave office where there's not a single homeless Guyanese. Every Guyanese would have a roof over his or her head.
During the meeting with the housing staff, the president explained the government's new housing policy. He noted that the policy defined by the Constitution is consistent with the United Nations International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights of 1966.
My friends, my government's policy didn't drop out of the sky. It was taken from the Constitution of this country. And the Constitution says, and let me quote, every citizen has the right to proper housing accommodation. And I intend to give them that right. I intend to make that right central to my government's policy.
Government's new housing policy is aimed at ensuring affordable and accessible housing for all. The president observed that this is far removed from government's involvement in housing development over the past 2 decades, which revolved principally around the sale and allocation of house lots to individuals and the divestment of lands to private housing developers. The Central Housing and Planning Authority, CHNPA, was established in 1948 and is expected to implement government's housing policy of ensuring accessible and affordable housing to low and middle-income families and provide for the holistic development of all residential areas. Natisha Isaacs for InfoHub.
The government of Guyana is working assiduously to boost its performance this year in the implementation of the Public Sector Investment Program, PSIP, so that the needs of citizens across the country can be adequately addressed. Finance Minister Winston Jordan, Thursday evening, acknowledged that while there are challenges, government has found workable solutions to aid in the timely implementation of the PSIP. Minister Jordan was at the time speaking at the conclusion of a PSIP meeting hosted by President David Granger and chaired by Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu. The finance minister said among the measures put in place by government is the amendment and passage of the Procurement Amendment Bill No. 2 of 2019. Speaking on the thrust of government's PSIP, the minister noted that government is investing and will continue to invest in areas that are most needed by citizens. More on this story can be read on our website. Residents of Charity and surrounding communities are being cautioned by Minister within the Ministry of Communities with responsibility for housing, Annette Ferguson, not to fall prey to empty promises.
Minister Ferguson told Charity residents that the promises to bring back the $10,000 cash grant and water and electricity subsidy for pensioners by the opposition are not to be taken seriously. With that, the minister revealed that the subsidy initiative was a scheme the opposition used to fill their own pockets.
Your brothers and sisters in region number 1, some of them, will just get water from the ground or the well. They weren't getting water from GWI, but you know what? If it's 10,000 of them living in region 1, was 10,000 being catered for. So we have to be very, very mindful. But you know what they used to be doing? The excess money, Kemraj, used to be going into somebody's pocket.
Minister Ferguson reminded the residents of how the government has been working to make their lives better in the region. She alluded to the state-of-the-art waterfront under construction, reduced power outages, along with a soon-to-be illuminated public road. With that, the minister called on them to desist from voting along party lines and consider those who have their best interests at heart.
I want to remind you, whether elections come in 2019 or 2020, as it is constitutionally due, I ask of you, look at what your government is doing. Compare 4 years. Compare 4 years, what we have achieved and what wasn't achieved in 23 years, and make your assessment.
As a coalition government, the minister assured, is a government for all Guyanese. Isaiah Braffett for InfoHub.
Director General of the Ministry of the Presidency, Joseph Harmon, today hosted a post-cabinet media conference where he highlighted several important issues. Here again is Paul with this week's post-cabinet roundup.
Cabinet met on May 28 and 30. Director General of the Ministry of the Presidency, Joseph Harmon, said today that the latest Government Comes to You outreach held at Anne Regina Essequibo fulfilled its mandate. Critical issues were addressed.
Allocation of house lots, payment for sweeper cleaners, the availability of birth certificates, public infrastructural issues, ancestral lands issues, and university education issues.
Copies of the Green State Development Strategy Vision 2040 were formally presented to the Cabinet by United Nations Environment Program Director for Latin America and the Caribbean, Leo Hillman.
The process of completing this Green State Development Strategy began in December of 2016 with the development of a framework document and continued with the formation of 7 multi-stakeholder expert groups, represented by over 130 experts from around 98 state, private, and civil society organizations. Emerging out of the multi-stakeholder expert group was the advisory committee, which met every month to review and contribute to the content.
The GSDS is now public and can be found online on the Department of the Environment's website. Several hard copies are also being distributed to stakeholders. Government is in discussion with Surinamese counterparts to resolve the issues surrounding the Kanawaimo ferry operations between the two countries. Difficulties forced the stoppage of operations on May 25.
In the interim, the Ministry of Public Infrastructure has deployed the MV Sandaka to transport persons who were stranded as a result of the problems with the MV Kanawaimo. The Ministers of Public Infrastructure and Foreign Affairs are in discussions with their Surinamese counterpart on the way forward for a continuation of the ferry service.
Cabinet approved attendance of officials at several international forums and conferences. These include the Regional Trade Policy Course in Trinidad, the 8th EITI Conference in France, and in Honduras, the Intergovernmental Meeting for the Protection and the Development of the Marine Environment. The ministerial group also received the annual reports for several agencies. These included the New Ghana Marketing Corporation's 2016 report.
Cabinet received and considered the annual report of the Ghana Marketing Corporation for the year 2016. It also received and considered the National Agricultural Research and Extension Institute for the year 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, and 2015, and the Guyana Sugar Corporation report for the years 2016 and 2017. Cabinet has directed that these reports be laid in the National Assembly as is required by law.
Cabinet also gave its no objection to several contracts, including one for the construction of an asphaltic farm-to-market unvowacked access road. Cabinet also expressed its full confidence in Ghana Police Force's ability to arrest crime countrywide.
The Ghana Police Force is now better led. There's a better cadre of senior officers. There's a better cadre of intelligence officers who are now ensuring that police operations are intelligence-led and intelligence-driven.
Paul McAdam for InfoHub.
Still to come, water woes and other issues at Lima Sands Region 2 will be addressed by Social Protection Minister Amna Ali, and critical changes being made at Department of Public Service to improve efficiency. Details of these and more after the break.
Are you ready to embark on a truly epic adventure to an undiscovered corner of South America, where some of the most spectacular natural attractions are unveiled within a beautifully diverse landscape? From the wetlands and savannas to the ancient mountains, magnificent waterways and lush enriching rainforest would provide a vast playground for some of the most exotic and breathtaking creatures on the planet, including many of the world's giant species. This untouched land of mystery and wonder serves up an exclusive experience for travelers. So are you ready for a new, awe-inspiring adventure? Welcome back to nature. Welcome to Guyana.
Welcome back. Water woes at Lima Sands Primary School and within the community, along with health services at the health center, are among issues that will be vastly improved. This assurance was given to the residents of the Region 2 community by Minister of Social Protection Amna Ali.
Concerns raised by residents during a community meeting at Lima Sands Primary School on Wednesday.
If by accident, let me say somebody get a snake bite or you get a cut and you need to have a doctor and you don't have $15,000 to $10,000, you cannot reach the study to get the real medical attention you need. And Conrad, I'm begging you, I am pleading to you to see if you could better our situation here at Lima Sands, whereby we must have a resident doctor.
Another resident touched on the water shortage at the primary school.
I work in fire service. I sometimes have to bring water from the fire station just to facilitate the children in this community.
Minister of Social Protection Amna Ali took the opportunity to reassure the residents that their issues will be addressed by the relevant agencies. Minister Ali also re-emphasized that the community is not forgotten and that Lima Sands will improve.
It is not a community that we have forgotten. With this government in place, Lima Sands is going to grow. Lima Sands will be developed, and Lima Sands will provide the opportunity where you can utilize to enjoy the good life that was promised to you by His Excellency David Arthur Granger.
Shaquille Bourne for InfoHub.
In our final story, Aliyah Hamilton reports that the recent revitalized coffee industry in Region 1 is slated to offer a special and better variety of the bean to ever be produced in Guyana.
In a recently held meeting with residents of Santa Rosa, Maruca, Minister within the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Valerie Garrido-Low, urged the residents to be proud of this new coffee cultivation in the region.
You will be proud of it, that indigenous people in Santa Rosa is growing coffee, and this is a special kind of coffee. We've been growing coffee for years, then it suddenly died down. For what reason, I don't know. But everybody forget about the coffee tree and left it in the bush and all kind of thing. Now, when we start back with this coffee project, I was so happy to see everybody gone and pull all them vine from the old coffee tree and weed on it, and it started to bear again.
This recent project has been resuscitated with the inclusion of 15 farmers in Region 1, with 800 coffee beans being allocated to each farmer. According to the minister, the coffee is special because it is a higher quality product from Mexico, and its development will be guided by Dr. Leroy Santiago, who is a famous agricultural scientist in the Caribbean.
It will not be so prone to diseases. This one is an in vitro one. It was made in the lab. Like when you have cows with artificial insemination and all them things. So this is the kind of thing. And they're growing very nice.
Minister Garrido-Low also noted that the project is a part of the government's effort of supporting the indigenous people.
This is your government, the APNU AFC government, as I explained, supporting our indigenous people in a real way, a way that they can feel it a good way.
For InfoHub, Ali Hamilton.
That's all for today. Connect with us on WhatsApp, Facebook, and YouTube. Much more news is on our website, dpi.gov.gy. And pop over to Instagram for the latest photo updates at DPI Guyana. Your bridge and weather reports are up next. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Goodbye for now.